You are not one person. You are a crowd. Inside your mind live voices you cannot silence, some innocent, some wise, some monstrous. They argue when you are awake, they whisper when you dream, and sometimes they take control. You smile politely at a friend, but behind that smile the shadow plots. You fall in love, but it is not with the person in front of you. It is with the anima already living inside your unconscious. You think you are free, but you are being played by ancient characters written into your blood. Carl Jung called them archetypes, the secret characters inside your mind. And once you see them, you cannot unsee them. The first archetype is the hero, the part of you that longs to prove itself, to fight, to conquer, to be admired. Every myth, every religion, every movie is filled with this figure because it lives inside you too. Achilles in Greek legend, Luke Skywalker in Star Wars, even the influencer online showing off his wealth, all wear the mask of the hero. But here is the danger. The hero cannot stop fighting. He wins battles only to lose himself. And if you don't recognize this character in your mind, you will confuse obsession with purpose. You will fight battles that were never yours just to feel alive. Then comes the second archetype, the shadow, the most feared character of all. This is the dark side of your personality, the aggression, envy, lust, and cruelty you deny. You hide it because society tells you to be good, polite, respectable. But the shadow never dies. It waits. Jung warned that the more you repress it, the stronger it becomes, until it erupts in anger, addiction, betrayal, or violence. Look at history. Leaders who preached morality but collapsed in scandal. Friends who smiled for years then exploded in rage. Even you have felt it. The sudden thought you'd never admit. The fantasy that terrifies you. The desire that makes you ashamed. That is your shadow knocking at the door. And if you refuse to face it, it will own you. The third archetype is the anima and animus. Jung believed no man is fully masculine and no woman fully feminine. Deep inside, every man carries an inner woman, the anima, and every woman carries an inner man, the animus. This is why love feels supernatural, almost like fate. You don't just fall for another person. You fall for the hidden image already living in your unconscious. That's why a crush can feel overwhelming. Why heartbreak feels like death. Because it isn't just about them. It is about you. But here's the danger. If you mistake your anima or animus for reality, you will project illusions. You will worship a ghost inside your psyche. And when the real person cannot live up to it, your world shatters. The fourth archetype is the wise old man, the sage. The voice of wisdom that appears in myths as Merlin, as Gandalf, as Yoda. He is the guide, the mentor, the light in darkness. And in life, he shows up as teachers, mentors, even sudden insights and dreams. But Jung warned, even wisdom can corrupt. Blind devotion to the sage can turn you into a follower who never acts, always waiting for someone else to decide. The sage can show the path, but he cannot walk it for you. Then comes the fifth archetype, the child. Innocence, curiosity, wonder. It is the part of you that still dreams, still hopes, still believes anything is possible. Without it, life feels empty, mechanical, dead. The child is what makes you human. But its dark side is naivety. The child refuses responsibility, resists pain, and clings to safety. Look around. How many adults hide behind distractions, binge watching, endless scrolling? Not because they are busy, but because they are terrified of growing up. That is the child archetype ruling them. Not innocence, but weakness disguised as comfort. The sixth archetype is the trickster, the mask of chaos. He is the joker, the deceiver, the one who laughs while the world burns. In myths, he is Loki, the jester who mocks kings. In life, he is the voice that whispers when you're about to make a mistake. Do it anyway. He breaks rules, bends truth, and exposes the lies you cling to. He is dangerous because he destabilizes everything. But Jung saw his hidden purpose. The trickster destroys illusions. Without him, you would stay trapped in false beliefs. He tears apart your comfort so that something new can be born. He is not just chaos. He is the fire that clears the forest so it can grow again. The seventh archetype is the king, the ruler, the creator. This is the part of you that seeks order, structure, mastery. The king builds cities, writes laws, raises empires. He is the father of civilization, the architect of stability. In myths, he is Arthur, crowned by destiny. In life, he is the leader who organizes chaos into something lasting. But beware, the king has a shadow. When unbalanced, he becomes the tyrant, building not for stability but for domination. The king inside you can create greatness, but if you worship him blindly, he will chain you inside your own empire. Power without humility is just another prison. And here is the terrifying truth. None of these characters can be killed. You cannot exile the trickster. You cannot dethrone the king. They live inside you whether you acknowledge them or not. Deny them, and they will control you from the dark. The hero becomes obsession. The shadow becomes destruction. The child becomes weakness. The sage becomes dependency. The trickster becomes chaos. The king becomes tyranny. Your only chance is not to destroy them, but to face them, to bring them into balance, to integrate them. And now comes the darkest truth of all. The characters inside you will never leave. The shadow waits in silence. The child clings to comfort. The trickster laughs behind the curtain. The king sharpens his crown. You think you are one, but you are many. And the more you deny them, the more they control you. Jung warned that the man who refuses to face his shadow will eventually be possessed by it. That the woman who worships only her anima will be broken by illusions. That the leader who crowns only his king will collapse into tyranny. These masks do not vanish. They rule in secret until you drag them into the light. This brutal process Jung called individuation, the war of integration. To sit in the silence of your mind and confront the monster you have always feared. To meet your shadow face to face. To see your anima without worship. To hear the sage but not surrender. To protect the child without becoming childish. To laugh with the trickster but not let him burn your world. To crown the king but bind him with humility. This is not comfort. This is war. The war inside your own soul. Think of every myth you know. Hercules fighting monsters. Buddha resisting temptation. Luke Skywalker facing Darth Vader. These were never just stories. They were maps of the human psyche. The monsters outside were only symbols of the monsters within, and the heroes outside were reflections of the heroes within. The war has always been inside you. Here is the inversion that chills your blood. The demons you fear outside are nothing compared to the ones already inside your mind. But so are the gods. Inside you lives cruelty, but also compassion. Tyranny, but also wisdom. Chaos, but also creation. And the man who dares to face them, who refuses to run, who integrates every mask into one whole being, he becomes something rare, something dangerous, something free. So I ask you now, who rules you? The hero who cannot stop fighting? The shadow who whispers destruction? The child who hides from responsibility? The trickster who mocks your life? The king who demands control? Or have you begun the work of integration? Have you begun the war of individuation? Because the truth is simple. You are not one person. You are a theater of gods and monsters. And until you step onto that stage, until you face them, until you balance them, you will never be whole. Jung's warning still echoes. The man who looks outside dreams. The man who looks inside awakens. The secret characters inside your mind are waiting. And once you meet them, you will never be the same.